Imagine a land of giant pyramids, powerful pharaohs and treasures hidden beneath the sands. Welcome to ancient Egypt, a place full of secrets waiting to be discovered. But did you know that some of the coolest stories you've heard might not be true? What if I told you that the people who built the pyramids weren't slaves and that mummies aren't really cursed? Join us as we dive into the true stories of Egypt, uncovering the real magic behind the myths. Get ready for an adventure into the past that's as amazing as any treasure hunt. Let's uncover the real Egypt together. But before we get moving, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. Imagine being part of a huge project, one that's going to be remembered for thousands of years. That's exactly what it was like for the people who built the pyramids of Egypt. These weren't slaves forced to work. They were skilled workers, almost like ancient engineers and construction workers. Every day, they would wake up with a purpose, ready to create these giant wonders, using nothing but simple tools, brains, and teamwork. They had a whole community supporting them, with cooks to prepare their meals and doctors to take care of them if they got sick or injured. It was a big, organized operation, with everyone playing their part, from planning how to move huge stones without cranes or trucks, to fitting them together perfectly. And guess what? They even had holidays and were paid for their hard work, often in bread, beer, and meat. Have you ever heard the spooky story about curses placed on ancient tombs, causing bad luck to those who dare enter? It sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, that's because it kind of is. The truth is, there's no real evidence that ancient Egyptians cursed their tombs to keep people away. These tales became popular after the discovery of King Tut's tomb, when a few people who entered it later got sick or had accidents. This made everyone think there was a curse. But guess what? Many scientists and historians believe these were just coincidences. Ancient Egyptians respected their dead and believed in protecting their tombs, but they weren't into cursing people. So next time you hear about a pharaoh's curse, remember, it's probably just a tall tale from long ago that's grown bigger and spookier over time. Imagine if aliens from outer space came down and built the pyramids. Sounds like a cool movie plot, right? But in real life, it was the ancient Egyptians, not aliens, who built these amazing structures. Some people think the pyramids are too perfect and big for people back then to have made, so they guess aliens must have helped. But as we said in the first chapter, the Egyptians were super smart and knew a lot about building things. They figured out how to move huge stones and stack them up just right, without needing flying saucers or laser beams. The ancient Egyptians were amazing builders who left us these wonders to admire, all without any help from extraterrestrial friends. So, next time you see the pyramids, remember the incredible people who made them, showing us what humans can do when they put their minds to it. Did you know Cleopatra, one of the most famous queens in history, wasn't actually Egyptian? Yep, you heard that right. Cleopatra was part of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which means her family came from Greece. They ruled Egypt for over 300 years. Cleopatra was super smart and could speak many languages. She was known for her cleverness and charm, which she used to protect Egypt and make it stronger. Cleopatra was much more than just an Egyptian queen. She was a leader with a unique background who cared deeply for her country. It shows us how history can surprise us with truths more fascinating than any fiction. Ever thought mummies were like those zombies you see in movies, waking up to haunt us? Well, think again. Mummies are actually all about showing respect to people who've passed away. In ancient Egypt, making someone into a mummy was their way of preparing them for an incredible journey to the afterlife. Egyptians believed you needed your body in the next world, so they came up with a special process to keep it safe forever. wrapping it carefully in linen and using special salts. This chapter uncovers the truth behind mummies in ancient Egypt, transforming them from spooky creatures of horror movies into symbols of love, respect, and the eternal journey after life. It shows us that mummification wasn't about fear, but about hope and care for those who've passed on, ensuring they're remembered and ready for their next great adventure. Have you ever looked at the Sphinx in Egypt and wondered, where did its nose go? There's a story that Napoleon's soldiers shot it off, but that's not true. The nose was already gone hundreds of years before Napoleon. So, what really happened? Historians think the nose might have been broken off by people long ago, maybe by someone who didn't like what the Sphinx stood for. Or it could have been the work of time. After all, the Sphinx is super old, and wind and sand can wear down stone after many, many years. The Sphinx has been standing guard in Egypt for thousands of years, watching over the pyramids. Even without its nose, it's an amazing piece of history that makes us wonder about the past. It shows us how even the biggest and strongest things can be changed by time and people. So next time you see a picture of the Sphinx, remember, everyone has their own guess about the missing nose. Egyptians thought cats were magical creatures that could bring good luck and protect their homes from bad spirits and mice. That's why you often see cats in Egyptian art, sitting proudly next to their owners, or even being worshipped in temples dedicated to the cat goddess Bastet. She was the goddess of home, fertility, and cats, of course. People loved and respected cats so much that it was actually against the law to harm them. When a family cat passed away, everyone in the house would show their sadness by shaving their eyebrows. And some cats were mummified just like humans, with their own tiny mummy cases, so they could join their owners in the afterlife. It shows how much Egyptians cared for their feline friends, seeing them as part of the family and as a bridge to the spiritual world. When we think of ancient Egypt, pharaohs like King Tut and Ramses often come to mind. But did you know that Egypt also had powerful queens who ruled the land? One of the most famous was Queen Hatshepsut. She was a pharaoh, just like the kings, and did an amazing job. Hatshepsut built incredible temples and monuments, and even dressed like a king to show her power. Another powerful queen was Cleopatra, who was known for her intelligence and ability to speak many languages. She fought to keep Egypt independent from Rome, showing her bravery and leadership. These queens showed that in ancient Egypt, women could be just as powerful and important as men. They made big decisions, led armies, and were respected by their people. It's cool to think about how thousands of years ago, these women were breaking the rules of what it meant to be a leader. When we think of ancient Egypt, we often think of mummies and pyramids, which might seem a bit spooky. But did you know that for Egyptians, preparing for the afterlife was actually about their love for life? They believed life continued after death, in a happy place where you could do all your favorite things, like fishing, farming, and feasting with family. That's why they filled their tombs with things they'd need or love to have with them forever, like games, food, and even statues of their pets. Egyptians made mummies because they thought you needed your body in the afterlife. They carefully preserved the body and wrapped it up, hoping to keep it safe for thousands of years. It was their way of making sure everyone had a chance at a second life that was even better than the first. Imagine sending a message using only pictures. That's how ancient Egyptians used hieroglyphs, which are like little drawings that stand for sounds or words. But hieroglyphs aren't just simple pictures. They're a whole language, kind of like a secret code that was used for more than 3,000 years. Some hieroglyphs represent things like birds or plants, while others stand for sounds, just like the letters in our alphabet. To write someone's name or talk about the gods, Egyptians would use a mix of these picture symbols. People stopped using hieroglyphs so long ago that everyone forgot how to read them until the Rosetta Stone was found. This special stone had the same message written in 3 different ways, including in hieroglyphs and in Greek, which people could still read. By comparing these texts, scholars cracked the code of hieroglyphs, opening up a whole world of ancient stories that had been silent for centuries. And there you have it, a journey through ancient Egypt, debunking myths and discovering the truths behind this fascinating civilization. Remember, history isn't just about the past. It's a window to understanding how people lived, thought, and dreamed. Thanks for joining us on this adventure. If you enjoyed uncovering these secrets with us, don't forget to subscribe, like, and support our channel for more exciting journeys into the past. Stay curious and keep exploring the wonders of our world.